so it's me, Nicolette, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about marriage in community of property. This video does not constitute a legal or any financial advice. If you are looking for some sort of legal and financial advice, please do consult any of the professionals. Right. So the reason why I want to do this video is because I get a lot of email queries, and being 29 myself and ripe for marriage, it is a conversation that we need to start having and getting a better understanding of. Most people in this country, either by default or because they do not know, end up in marriages that are in community of property. But what does this actually mean for your finances? We say when you get married for richer or for poorer, right? And that is exactly what marriage in community of property is. It says that, my friend, you and I, together in this thing, whether we are going towards the richness or whether we're going towards the povertyness, we're together, same WhatsApp group. It's also actually in the Bible. If you are a Christian and you do read the Bible, it says that a man will leave his homestead, he will find himself a wife, they will get married and become one. And that is how the legal framework of South Africa sees people who are married within community of property. They are seen as one, so therefore they are marrying each other's finances and become jointly responsible for those finances. I'll tell you an example. My family, my parents are both married, well, they can't be married to other people. My parents are married in community of property, right? And so my dad, because he's got the most money, well, we assume he has more money, pays for because he pays for everything. So we assume as a family that he's got more money than my mom. He will pay for the big things, and this is their arrangement. And it has worked ever since. I can't get really involved because I don't really know whether it works or not, but it's up to them, right? So he will pay for all the big things, and my mom will keep the house going. So she will buy the small things. She will buy the throws for the couches. She will buy the food in the fridge. So she will keep the house going. Whereas my dad will pay for education, he'll pay for cell phones, he'll pay for the cars, and he'll buy the cars and all that, right? So he would have obviously all the liberty to go out there and create debt, which obviously comes from a good place, because his intention to create that kind of debt is coming from making sure that his family is well run, right? My mother, on the other hand, has to clothe us. So she's got to buy us clothes, because you know black fathers don't care about clothes. So she has to clothe us, so she will go and open the clothing account, and she will get debt in that regard. But at the end of the day, they're jointly responsible for all that debt. If something is to happen to their marriage, let's say for instance they divorce, that debt will be equally split in half, and they will both go respectively with their equal half of the debt. And it's the same thing that comes with assets. We always talk about, I want to get married to a rich man, or I want to get married to an independent woman that's got her shit together. But the reality is that everything that they do financially pre-marriage and during marriage, you are jointly responsible with them for that. So for instance, I read a story in Pumelele's book, Date to Riches, and she speaks about this couple that gets married. So they're both divorcees, they get married, the lady comes with two properties. One of the properties her mom is living in, and the other property they're going to be living into that house. He also comes with his own assets. They get married. This man, she's madly in love with him, he's madly in love with her. They get married and they do not sign a prenuptial agreement. So by default, they get married in community of property. What happens is that this man, 4 years later, he decides, you know what, I no longer want to work, so I'm going to start a business. This man starts a business and it does not work. It just does not work, and he just keeps taking up more debt and taking up more debt because he's trying to build this prototype and it's just not working. If you watched Acrimony, you can have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. This man is just creating more and more debt, and eventually the debt is so much that the debt collectors, when they come knocking at the door and they find his wife and they say to her, listen, you owe us this amount of money, and we are going to now attach this to all the positions that you guys have. And she was like, yo, it's not my debt, so therefore I'm not responsible. And they were like, hold up, sister girl, you are married to this man in community of property, so therefore his debt is basically your debt. Which now means that her mom, who's living in one of the properties, could potentially lose her home, because every single position that they've got now gets attached to this date because of one spouse. So it's important that you understand that if you are going to get married in community of property, you need to understand, number one, speak to your partner about their finances, even their finances before you got married, because those finances they literally move with this person. They're like a ball of chain that is around their ankle. They will move into that marriage with those debts, and you will now be jointly responsible for those debts. So it's important that you speak to your partner that you're about to get married to, get a better understanding of the type of person that they are, what type of debt do they actually have, is it debt that we can manage, number one, right? Number two, make sure you discuss issues of money and who is responsible for what in the house, who's taking care of what, and do we need to discuss if somebody's going to go get us credit. Let's say, for instance, your husband wants to buy a new car, or you want to buy the new LV bag and you want to take it on credit. You need to discuss it with your partner, because at the end of the day, you guys are both jointly responsible if you are married in community of property. However, the law in the country says that you are allowed to change that in marriage. So post you guys being married, you are allowed to obviously go and change this, obviously following the legal route. And remember that being married in community of property really did work in the past, and it could potentially still work right now, but it's got to be discussed, because as I said, it's not just a matter of you saying, I'm marrying this man or I'm marrying this woman because they're coming in with great assets, because you do not know, they could also potentially be coming in with great debt, and debt that you might not be able to manage. And remember, it's also important that you might marry somebody because they look like they've got amazing assets, or they look like they've got their life together. Remember, income is not wealth, right? So income-wise, this person is absolutely amazing. They've taken up a very long-term type of debt. Something happens to them, you guys will still be responsible for paying off those debts, especially if you are married in community of property and that person does not have credit life, or does not have dread disease cover, or does not have disability cover. So for instance, if you guys buy a house, or she's bought a house previously, you get married, she's got 2 bonds of 2 properties, she loses her ability to actually generate income, you will be responsible for those houses, because your finances are jointly put together once you say, I do.